Okay, any more comments like this? There's another one. Wait, please.
Well, thank you.
Just try it, it's on. Just try it again.
Mr. Cake, what made you want to be in this movie? Why did you want to make it?
I've been pretty shit without you. I've been pretty shit without you.
Why did I want to do it? Is that the question? I didn't. And it took quite a lot of persuading because the last thing I wanted to do was to do a documentary about Nick Cave, because rock and roll documentaries of that sort are usually so tedious and give so little, and Iain and Jane really came with a kind of concept that would the kind of promise that it would be something different other than your standard, rockumentary. So after much discussion, I got involved and we did it. It was fucking awesome. And we're doing part 2 after 21,000 days.
Maybe Jane and Iain want to say something about this concept, and when did you start approaching Nick and asking him to be in the movie?
I don't think you can make or even think about making a kind of ordinary rock documentary about an extraordinary musician. We had to make something that would stand up to the body of work that Nick's done, and there's no point in filming and showing you a gig, because you can go to the gigs, they're astonishing. The experience that you have there is never going to be able to be replicated on a screen, but we could find ways of letting you into his head in some way.
I mean, I think, like most good things, it started quite accidentally. There wasn't a huge plan. Back when Nick was starting to work on, to push the Skyway album, he kind of made it known that he thought he could probably tolerate our presence around the studio. And we've done things like that in the past, and other people have, where you're doing something that's going to end up in some sort of promotional record cycle, and you always go in right at the end, and everything's finished, and everything's done, and you basically find a sofa with a load of guys sat around listening to it, going, "Oh, can you turn the hi-hat down a bit?"
What? You mean? I haven't been to a psychotherapist who looks so much like a psychotherapist. He's an extraordinary guy, and he's a Freudian dude, so he's interested in certain sorts of things, I guess, that I'm interested in as well. So we kind of got on very well from the start, and even though there was a camera crew there, it felt very quickly. It went, that we did that for 2 days solid, and very quickly it's too tiring to skirt around issues. It's too tiring to lie, or to be protective over certain things. So it all just comes tumbling out. And he was great. He was great like that. He was very good at making little connections, and I learned a lot really from the 2 days with that guy. He was an extraordinary man.
It's necessary?
It's not necessary. I kind of love my various pathologies.
Thank you, Iain. No, you please.
You like stories. Do you prefer telling them or writing them? Nick.
I don't know.
Both?
I think we've kind of learned over the last however many years that if you look good, we can kind of do anything. So that was kind of the starting point. But no, I mean, the edit, you know, it was mostly an improvised film, so the kind of film was found in the edit, and it was very slow.
To watch that documentary, it comes from a period where rock singers were, not only were they viewed as gods, but they viewed themselves as gods. This sadly is not the case anymore, especially, well, with the internet, everybody's a god or nobody's a god. It's difficult to work out. But there was an aspiration of this band in this documentary, that they were something up there, something immortal, something larger than life. And that period which I grew up through, and my great heroes, David Bowie and Brian Ferry and whoever they may be from that period, were very much characters that lived up in the stratosphere up here. Sadly, there's been a democratization of the art world in general, especially the music world, that has pulled these people down. And now we have a kind of level playing ground of mediocrity.
Yeah. I was living in Australia for a few years, in 2006 and 2007, and I got a job offer, so I went to Wangaratta High School, and I used to work there. And one of the colleagues sitting next to me, he was...
You have my condolences.
Thanks. It wasn't the best of my years, but anyway, and so one of the colleagues sitting next to me, he was saying that he went to high school with you. And back then, you were kicked out, and I was always wondering if it was true or not. Okay, thanks.
My parents worked there at the high school. My father was the literature teacher, or the English teacher there, and my mother was the librarian. So anything that I did that you know, troublesome, and that was quite a lot of stuff, they heard about. And eventually, I think, they were exhausted with going into the staff room and hearing what I'd been up to, and they sent me off to boarding school, thank God, and got out of that horrible little school. Wangaratta High School. Don't send your kids there.
Any more questions? Yes. Would you please wait? I don't know where the microphone is, but...
Must be time for a producer question, surely.
Yeah, thank you for the beautiful movie. And my question is, it's a beautiful film, but at the same time it's a documentary, it's a story. And what was the role of the script, and what was the role of the acting in what we have seen?
Why isn't PJ Harvey in it? Is that the question?
How did you decide?
I mean, the people that were chosen in the car were people that represented. I don't know. You answer.
They were. We were looking for different. We were looking for somebody who. When people meet Nick, and even people who know him, there's still a sense of awe. There's still a sense of there's a change of behaviour, or a lack of willingness to just kind of, for there to be no bullshit. And there's very few people that you kind of witness that with, or that we'd witnessed that with. And Warren's one of them. But Ray Winston is another. The guy, Ray Winston, British actor, played the lead in The Proposition. And Ray's such a kind of no bullshit guy that he's, Ray's just Ray, and he's amazing. And with Nick, it's no different, and he's just as unrelenting. we only shot about 20 minutes in that car, and there was gold in there. It was incredible. He was berating Nick for not telling him what he voted.